Hi, this is Luefras with The Way I See It. I wanted to come on and talk to you guys because the furlough is going into its third week. And I said, you know what? I have to talk to my community out there. Many of you already follow me, and hopefully you will like and share this message because I want to help you through this furlough. I'm looking at a CNN report that came out today, and they asked for stories from people who are affected by the furlough. And all the way around, Americans who work for the federal government. I am a defense contractor. So it's uncertain. Sometimes our contracts are already paid in full. But it's still some uncertainty attached to that, how we will be affected within DOD. But many people, I live up in the Washington, D.C. region. Many people that I see every day, touch and feel. Several people at my church are affected by the furlough. And so what I want to do today is talk to you about let's be more strategic with our life and with the skills that we are blessed with. But just going over some of these comments and how the furlough is affecting people, that already are having to skip mortgage payments. Here's an IRS worker of 28 years saying, I have to figure out what am I going to do? What am I going to do to sustain my lifestyle? Here's someone that needs their tax refund for surgery. And we saw the news report a few days ago that the IRS will have to withhold tax refunds if something's not done to get federal workers back to work. So you say, Luefras, what's this all about? Strategizing, talking about our skill sets. Let me go back to the way I grew up. I grew up in a home where my mom always had these sayings, and as a child, I'm just like, what are you talking about? But one of the sayings that my mom always had was that a rat always has more than one hole. Like, what? A rat always has more than one hole. But what she was saying and teaching and instilling in me, you never rely on just one thing. And what concerns me is that many people that I know, that I'm around, and I know there are countless examples of people like this because, we all say we just don't have time. All we have time to do is go to work, deal with our families, meet other obligations, and get some rest back up. But that is a mistake. I did a video a few months ago talking about how we're using our time and even in 2019, it's even more important that you really get a handle on how you're spending your time. So we go to work, we clock in, and we give our skill sets. Whether it's accounting, my background is strategic communications, strategy, information, public relations, public affairs. So if you're an engineer, whatever your skill set is, you clock into that job, and then when it's time to clock out, you clock out and you go on with the rest of your life. I'm saying that's a mistake. Stop clocking out. If there's something that I want you to remember from this message, stop clocking out. You cannot afford to clock out. Why? Look at this furlough. Many people, could include me at some point, will be without a paycheck. And if that's your sole source of earning income, then you're left cold. At the end of the day, you have to worry about you. So going back to my mom saying about a rat always has more than one hole. So my mom encouraged me, not thinking in those terms then, but basically what my mom was doing was encouraging me to have multiple streams of income. So I've never, ever just relied on my job per se to take care of me. And thank God, because I ended up divorced very young with a small child, and so a lot of people know me because I'm a professional saxophonist. So thank God I had that to depend on as a professional musician. So when I clocked out from my day job, oftentimes it was rehearsals, going to performances. People hired me to do events, church events. I really got my start in the church community, performing with churches, organizations, and so forth. And then starting out my career as a news reporter. Even though I was a news reporter by day, I continued writing. So people would ask me to write resumes. I did freelance writing, and it so happened I went through a period several years ago where a grant, I worked for a grant funded program, and it ended, and I was without a job. But because I was already doing some freelance work on the side, it opened the door for me to come back to a company that I was working for and work in another position, which led to another position. But I continued doing things on the side. So people who know me, they're like, oh, you're always doing so much. But it's a necessity to do so much. So what I want to encourage you to do is to stop clocking out. Whatever your skill sets are, find a way to use those skills after you clock out and build. No, everyone's not going to be an entrepreneur. Everyone, I know there's this big push and everyone thinks everyone should be in business, but I highly encourage it. If you can work for someone else, certainly you can find a way to take those skills and package it as your own business. And do that on your own time. When you go to work, give your job 100% working for that job. But once you clock out of that job, because we're not clocking out, remember, we're not clocking out, clock into you. So what does that mean? That means you look at what you're doing. Like, I know a lot of people who are excellent. Now, I love to cook, but I really don't want to do it as a business. I do have my cooking show, not a plug, Kitchen Jazz with Luefras. However, find things that you are really good at that you would do even if you weren't paid for it. That's probably your calling. And first of all, you must look at, how does this solve a problem in the world? So many of you are, well, how do I go from what I'm doing for my day job to turning that into a business? Let's think broadly. Let's do some research. You've got Google, and look at how those skill sets can be used to solve problems in the world. So for me, everyone needs someone to help them do marketing, social media. So I'm always, because with my current day job, I don't really get to use a lot of my skill sets, especially with the marketing side and the social media side. So to keep those skills sharp, I have had clients in real estate, etc. I have people, they call me to write their resume. People call me to help them develop their business plans. So think about how your skill sets that you're already using can be used under the umbrella of your own business to solve problems in the world. So that's the only question you have to ask, when you say, well, I don't know if I have a business. Could it solve a problem in the world? And the research is right at your fingerprints. Yeah, right at your fingertips. So what I want to leave with you today is, no more clocking out. This furlough is going into its third week, and many of you who will be home, I want you to start thinking about those skill sets. And you can't afford to come home and clock out anymore. You have to find the time. I know you think you don't have the time, but when you start tallying up the time that you're spending on things, the time that you're watching TV, doing things. And I do believe in taking a breather. I even, put myself in check because I was coming home from work and I would get right on my personal computer and go to work. So I do give myself a space where I'm not doing anything work related. It's just, I might watch a sitcom for 30 minutes or something to just turn my brain off temporarily, but then I go back to work. So please, it's in your best interest, because who's going to look out for you at the end of the day? You have to do it. So if you need some assistance with developing your plan of action and you're still just kind of fuzzy about, well, how would I even take that first step? Please give me a call. My information is on the screen, how you can reach me, and I would love to have a one-on-one consultation with you. Again, this has been Luefras with The Way I See It. And remember, no clocking out. You can't afford to.